Hello, and welcome back to Reverse 1999. So, last time we had to fight a guy that was going crazy, and we saw more of Doris's POV. So now, we're gonna go to Passion and Delirium. Open your eyes to see the night, close them to see the light. I wonder if we're gonna have to fight signs again.
This is a serious violation of the rules. I'll have to report this to the physician, and all of your treatments will need to be reassessed. Until a new treatment plan is in place, all members of La Sociedad are confined to their cells without any of their usual privileges.
The jailer heavily emphasizes La Sociedad, triggering a commotion among the prisoners.
This is not what we agreed to.
You gave us your word! Affairs within La Sociedad were not to be disturbed!
Please, don't do this. Please, he doesn't deserve this. No one does. We don't want to lose our friend.
Is the physician gonna lobotomize him? I'm guessing that's what the implication is. The previous convulsive prisoner struggles to his feet.
Please, Senora. I swear it won't happen again. I'll take the medicine on time as instructed. I promise I won't hurt anyone.
I'm sorry, Mr. Pablo, but rules are rules.
Before you take this poor man from his friends, may I ask you something? Do you know where these inmates go after they see the physician?
My duty is to keep order here. What happens beyond these walls is not my concern.
They're hiding from the truth, it seems.
Perhaps they've recovered from the physician's treatment and
Oh,
will
sweetie.
return to society.
I don't think that's what is happening. The jailer expression relaxes.
Within these walls, the only truth we know is this. No one returns from the clinic of the physician of Kamala. Are you certain this treatment they received is really a cure?
Pablo is harmless. He's just a writer who has a talent for finding words and poems. That's all. Please, let him stay. We'll look after him. He can have our share of the medicine. We'll keep him in check.
I don't think it's a very good idea to swap around medicines unless you're all taking the same medicine, but even then, it's kind of a weird thing. Don't they distribute enough medicine for the guy? That'd be kind of an odd thing.
But this doesn't conform to our regulations.
Still as arrogant as ever, idealist. One day, you'll get us all killed.
A stranger enters the exhibition hall. As she arrives, the jailer exhales with relief.
Oh, it's you. I'm glad to see you here.
Who is that?
That's Octavia, one of our model inmates. She's been a great help in the past.
Octavia, okay, not Octavia.
If you're interested in prison literature, I'd suggest talking to her instead of the idealist.
So, she's a writer too? Who would have thought? This place has got writers coming out of the woodwork. I thought it would be easy to find my writer friend in a prison. But what are the odds that I'd break into a place absolutely lousy with them?
She used to be in their gatherings, until she got tired of their nonsense and started her own faction.
The new arrival brings out a change in the idealist. He clicks his tongue imperceptibly.
What are you doing here, Octavia? Haven't you heard? The era of chieftains, ghosts, and plantation stories is over. Visceral realism is the future.
And has this brilliant visceral realism helped you finish any of these poems? What a waste of time. I'm not interested in your movement or arguing with you. I just walked by and happened to witness another episode of your brutal arrogance. And I'm not about to just stand aside and watch you repeat your mistakes. I'm taking Pablo to the physician. Care to lend a hand, Miss Jailer?
We agreed to mind our own business. Are you breaking our agreement? No one will be allowed to erase a word from our poems.
Oh boy. Who are we fighting? Who are we fighting? Oh, we're fighting both of them. Yeah. Okay. Done. Let's get some. Who should we get?
Our rooms are always open for new games.
Bring these two along.
You can return the favor to me later.
Let me see. Actually, I wanna see.
Wow, another worshiper.
Let's bring these holds. Why not?
Time for treatment.
Happy to lend a hand.
Haven't you let your ego cause enough trouble, idealist?
Better that than siding with the devil like you.
Enough. This pointless arguing ends now.
I don't think good on Burton. Just shut both of them up.
At your service. A real troublemaker of a guest, aren't you?
You know, in a way, Tuesday is also a writer. She basically only her writing style is real life horror stories.
Knock knock. Room service. Your
To bring
punishment will
Volani
come.
along to have two horror writers
Get back
in a
and
way.
stay back. Perfect service, just like always.
Stand down, both of you.
Oh, this song. Oh god. The heated debate continues without any concern for the jailer's warning.
You've never listened. I pity your followers. To be led by such a reckless megalomaniac. Do you even think about the consequences of your actions? We fought hard to earn the freedom to discuss literature under their watch. Your impulsive ego threatens to destroy everything we've built here.
Spare me the lecture, Octavia. We don't need permission to do as we please. You're just another puppet of power, kneeling to the eyes behind those glass walls. They've trained you to believe it was your own decision, to be good and conform. Who could have done a better job? When I look at you, all I see is a sheep, docile and obedient, just the way the tower wants. What kind of work could someone like you create? Literature isn't defended by those lounging in cozy rooms, scribbling to soothing music.
Have you looked in a mirror, idealist? You've become a pathetic windmill-tilting fool, a monster tearing down everything around you.
I wonder if this is Don Quixote reference.
A beast of prey, you mean? Naturally, a sheep would be appalled by the mere thought of such a creature. A fearful sheep caught in a vine, confusing the blade that would set it free with the jaws of a lion.
Such a master of metaphor. But I beg you, learn to distinguish right from wrong, fantasy from reality. Only then can you truly lead our people toward what's right.
Distinguish right from wrong. Don't make me laugh. Is that the limit of your vision?
You...
Oh, she's really getting pissed. Oh. Oh shit, it's this season. It's this fuck. The passionate leader jumps. And now the Reashki song. They're reusing every song in this chapter. The impassioned leader jumps into a nearby bench, striking a dramatic pose before the crowd. He raises his arm and launches into a speech.
Compañeros, friends, listen to me. There is no truer home to literature than a prison.
Oh god, he just shot. A blast of a deafening sound of all words fall into the air. Gee. He was just shot. They just killed him. The idealist's expression freezes. His eyes search down from a frozen face to a dark red hole. An ominous share of crimson seeps out. Are you done? Dark red hole. Yeah, okay.
No! No!
Oh god, she got splattered. The horrified arcanist stumbles back, screaming.
Who did this? Hands behind your head and drop to your knees. All of you, now! This is your last warning.
Ah, God. The prisoners show no reaction to their jailer's final ultimatum. They stare at the idealist, unmoving.
Idealist, you're bleeding. It's in your chest.
As his life drains away, the idealist appears unsurprised. He simply turns his gaze towards Recoleta.
You must.
Yes. Idealist?
Oh no, what's happening? Unfinished words dissolve into silence as the prison begins itself to tremble. The entire exhibition hall twists and contorts, its surroundings warping beyond comprehension, as if dissolving and expanding freely.
What's going on?
Whoa! In the hall is still. Time seems frozen in place until someone utters the first words.
Was he shot? Where did the bullet come from? Miss Jailer and you ladies over there, come give me a hand. We need to get him to the physician.
Her words ignite the first spark.
Did you do this, Octavia? You couldn't face the burning truth of his words, so you pierced his very heart instead, just as it was blazing with the fire of justice. Or was it you, Jailer? Did you intend to crush the voice of poetry beneath your wheel of power? It has to be one of you devils in disguise, beasts in human skin.
Have you seen Jailer?
Can't you see? I had nothing to do with this. I'm as innocent as any of you. I've been trying to keep order here, to protect everyone. And now you blame me?
Don't listen to her! The idealist made it very clear! She's trying to get us punished for her own gain! You're a murderer, Octavia!
The prisoner's fury erupts. In the chaos, Senator blocks an arcane skill that pierces the air.
This is mad. You're accusing me without proof. It wasn't me.
This is getting out of hand. I suggest you ladies leave now.
No, wait! It all happened too fast. What happened to the idealist? Is he alright?
He was shot. I don't think he's alright.
I didn't even get a chance to ask about Aleph.
As the tide of people surge around them, the line between life and death blurs beyond recognition.
I agree with the jailer. Timekeeper, Miss Recoleta, let's get out of here.
Yeah, that's probably a smart idea. The violent conflict rages on, and everything else becomes meaningless. The illusion of time dissolves, its flow unknown. Under the garden's influence, the frenzy of prisoners begins to resemble an unreadable, chaotic epic. At this moment, an unidentifiable figure enters the midst, with though no one takes notice. The newcomer scrutinizes the motionless corpse.
His vitals are gone. At last, some peace and quiet.
Aleph. I can see the silhouette as Aleph.
Well, for a liar and a thief like him, there's hardly a better end than this.
Okay, so I'm guessing he wasn't Aleph then. Oh, it's the E20. He reaches into the idealist's pocket and pulls out a die. It's an artifact marked by patterns veiled in smoke, an object seemingly not meant to exist in this world, a 20-sided die, known only through an omniscient perspective. And now it's stained in an utterly corrupted blackness. The madness is black.
Just as I thought. You had it all along.
What the hell's the idealist then? Was, I guess. I don't think he's really dead. I don't know, it's a bit of an odd thing. More? Oh boy, there's a lot of her now, huh? Faded like a mirror, its strongest reflections are shaped by time. Enter the darkness. At this point, I have participated firsthand in several sessions of La Sociedad de Poetas de las Américas. Those literary experiments treated language as an advanced game, weaving reality and fiction into an invisible web, ensnaring everyone present in a maze of words. Never before had I ever been so intimate with literature, or thought about it so deeply. I was amazed by how words could so vividly express both playfulness and values. Until that ordinary afternoon, when a poet named Eduardo, I think that's it, Eduardo was reciting his new piece with refined rhythm, and Miss Octavia was discussing the state of São Paulo with me. No one noticed anything unusual about Miss Julia's condition. Just like you wrote in the Tin Soldiers of São Paulo. The greatest of Latin America lies in its richness, and from that richness comes misfortune, gnawed by an insatiable greed. One man's poverty is another man's feast. Suffering nourishes joy. They are like little riverbanks, clearly divided. This duality, this paradox, isn't it precisely the kind of question we should be posing through literature? The thud of bone against hard surface interrupts her. Julio is banging his head against the wall. Not enough. Not enough. Not like this. You can't grasp space and time. I'm still missing some essential language framework and through patterns. With our current language system, I cannot catch the ghost of time. I can only let it slip away from the tip of my pen. Mr. Julio, what's wrong with you? Unlike the panicked Octavia, the other inmates around Julio seem unfazed. That wall is inescapable, Julio. I told you already. I can lend you some of my bandages from last week if you need them. For a permanent silent object, any form of narration is futile. In the end, you're just wrestling with your own shadow.
What are you all standing around for? Can't you see Julio is hurting himself?
Octavia is clearly flustered. Dolores knows she must first eliminate any outside interference that might obstruct her ability to help. Miss Octavia, please calm down. Tell me, what do you see?
It's Mr. Julio. He's hurt. Bleeding.
He tried to break through the mirror of languages with his head, but it was actually a wall. By now, Doris has learned how to filter out the surreal embellishments typical of La Sociedad members in order to correctly assess the situation. Mirror or wall, it doesn't matter. Please take a closer look at and describe what you see, clearly and without embellishment. What is Mr. Julio's condition? His muscles are spasming uncontrollably, as if jolted by a cold electric current. His face is tightening, twisting, like he's struggling against a silent force. His fingers are curling in unnatural shapes. His expression keeps changing, first pain, then panic, and finally, blankness.
Sounds like he's having an epileptic seizure.
Yes.
Perhaps I could offer some help.
Guided by the sound of Julio's whimpering, Doris approaches. His head is bloodied.
Please, Miss Octavia, help me, so I can help him.
Could you lay him down flat on his side? We have to stop him from hurting himself. I can see my arcane I can use my arcane skill. Flashing lights could worsen an epileptic seizure. Does your arcane skill emit intense light? If so, I must ask you to refrain from using it. Octavia hurriedly retracts her incantation. She presses down on Julio's shoulder, lowering to the cold, hard floor. The doctor kneels quickly and gently turns the man on his side, preventing him from injuring himself any further. As time passes, Mr. Julio's convulsions begin to subside, but his body remains stiff, his jaw clenched tight. I took a disposable bite pad from the first aid kit and carefully placed it in his mouth to keep him from biting himself. Eventually, the situation came under control, and Mr. Julio's breathing stabilized. And there everyone went, straight back to the gathering as if there was only a minor inconvenience. Thank you for your help, Miss Earth. The doctor responds with a silent smile.
You seem experienced. Was it a major part of your responsibilities in São Paulo?
Yes. Saving others is my profession. Writing is my hobby. In my home, I am first and foremost a doctor. Miss Earth, you have my utmost admiration. As a doctor, as a writer, and even more as a person beyond my social categorization. You, a doctor who actually live in the favelas, pointed the barrel at yourself before wielding your words as a weapon. Compared to you, I achieved nothing of substance. All I do is have ideals around as wave ideals around, as if that's enough. Miss Octavia, I am simply a writer who follows her curiosity. I'm afraid I'm not qualified to provide you with any concrete advice, nor am I as great as you say.
You're well prepared for your vision and ambition, for modesty is such an essential part of writing, and you've just demonstrated a skillful use of introspection.
Thank you for your kind words.
But I'd like to return to my room and think for a while. See you tomorrow. Okay. Oh, we actually get the CG of the room. The idealist pursues his ideal, of course, yeah, that's in his name, to erect a magnificent vision atop the tower of literature. But for those outside the tower, what good is that magnificence? Here I am, locked away in a prison, my words going no further than these walls. I even only have my life because of my wretched father.
It was foolish to think that ideas alone could ease people's pain.
Maybe there's no difference from the heretics who were buried at the stake in the Middle Ages, who were buried at the stake. Come on, that's ridiculous. Who were burned at the stake in the Middle Ages. Perhaps only professionals like Miss Erd, doctors with real experience, can truly save a person. Wait, but this prison does have a doctor meant to handle every kind of issue, whose speciality is precisely in the mental field. But he's not just a doctor. He is the overseer of this prison. I once asked the idealist why the person in charge here wasn't a regular jailer or a police chief, but a physician. As expected, he brushed me off with some grandiose, idealistic rhetoric. But why was the idealist always seem so opposed to the physician?
Why?
Why can't patients like Mr. Giulio, who are clearly suffering, be sent to him?
Puzzles on top of puzzles. Questions after questions. My head.
Her sigh echoes through the circular building, and it's soon answered by a chorus of other sighs.
I can't do this anymore.
Okay. And now the idealist is dead. Miss Octavia turned and walked away. Although she looked disheartened, I could still see the power of the unwavering force that drove her forward. What would that force be for me? Looking back, I too began to reflect on myself, to contemplate fate, that grand and irreversible force. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, she's doing fate things. Wondering about fate and whatnot. The spider's web. Open it, reread it, witness it firsthand in the events that transpired in the desert. Another beach ball.
Ladies, I must apologize for what happened back there. We were caught off guard. There has never been a commotion of that scale before. I must report this to the physician.
Don't worry, Miss Jailer. We made it out in one piece.
Thank you for your understanding. Ordinarily, I would arrange to escort you to a safer location, but I'm afraid at this hour you'll have missed the last train. And the roads are icy at night.
Hearing this, Recoleta exchanged a quick but meaningful expression with her companions. We're gonna spend the night in the jail.
Psst. Verdun, we can't leave like this. We appreciate your kind consideration, Miss Jailer. But we still have some unfinished business here.
I see. I'll arrange a clean room in a safer section for you. We'll do our best to ensure your safety tonight.
Night falls as the girls huddle together, scrutinizing their unfamiliar surroundings.
They actually found us a spare room.
Are they all gonna fit in the bed? That's my question. It looks like a double bed, but
Bleak, quiet, and somber. It's a cell like all the others. Don't worry. This isn't the first time we've ended up on the wrong side of the bars.
At least this time we're just here for the night. Not a full sentence.
God damn it. Senator lets out a whisper thin protest.
Though this cell is quite different from the ones we've been in before. Not just the cell. The whole prison is unlike anything I've seen. And this society they've been running here isn't some mere pastime. They're having real discussions about meaningful topics, even though the rest of the world has been cut off from them.
But we're still in an Arcanist prison. A place where conflicts and violence can erupt at any moment. Let's not forget that.
Yeah, okay.
Miss Jailer warned us from the start. These prisoners are mentally unstable and potentially dangerous. Miss Recoleta, with all due respect, we can't afford to see this place through rose-colored glasses. We'd be overlooking the risks, as we did earlier.
And with all due respect, Soneto, we didn't overlook any danger. At least I didn't. A writer must be observant if she is to accurately reflect the world in her writing.
But you...
We came here with different goals. And still, none of them have been accomplished. I suggest we focus on our respective missions, instead of fighting with one another.
Apologies, Timekeeper. Miss Recoleta, I take back everything I said.
Don't apologize, Soneto. I'm at fault too. Sometimes I forget that words can be as sharp as swords. You were only thinking about our safety. I shouldn't have been so rude. I actually really admire how you fought back there. If you'd allow me, I'd like to write a poem for you, once my novel's finished.
Cute.
That's terribly kind of you. But honestly,
Oh, she's
I think
blushing.
we've had enough poetry today to last a lifetime. Let me know if you change your mind. By the way, did either of you see what happened to the idealist?
Yeah, he was shot. Recalling their recent conflict, the indomitable girl finally
The
hesitates.
jailer told me she went back to the gallery once everything calmed down. She found nothing. No blood, no shell cases, not even a trace of the idealist.
Ooh, mysterious.
Timekeeper, now's really not the time for ghost stories.
Do you mean that maybe the idealist somehow managed to get out of there on his own? Or perhaps someone else helped him? Well, according to the idealist and our jailer, any inmates who are unwell will be taken to the physician. It's possible someone brought him there, while everyone else was shouting and running about.
Probably Ayla then, right? Because no member of the Sociedad wanted to go near the guy, the physician.
You're right. It could be that he's with the physician right now. I'm relieved. That was a sudden plot twist, but a visionary of his magnitude doesn't deserve to die in silence like that. To be fair, the gunshot was quite loud, as was the ensuing commotion. Nonetheless, he couldn't have just died like that. I mean, the writers would riot if a writer were to kill off a character so abruptly.
Wait, how did you
But-
say that?
You believe he's still alive too, am I right? Nonetheless, he couldn't have just died like that. I mean, the writers would riot if a writer were to kill off a character so abruptly.
Uh-oh, little oopsie. The readers. She knows her words are merely a cover. She needs an answer, a real, undeniable answer.
There's nothing that we can be certain of for now. But on a brighter note, we didn't come back empty-handed from our mission either, Soneto. We found Dr. Dorez's signature in the gallery. You were right all along, Recoleta. She was here.
But we didn't see her at the gathering. Could something have happened to her, like with the idealist?
Do you think she was also sent to the physician and never made it back?
Probably, I don't know.
This is all just speculation. If we want to find the idealist, or Dr. Dorez,
We have to find the physician.
we need to speak to this physician first.
Yes.
Miss Recoleta, do you believe that the idealist could be your pen pal, Aleph? Whether he is or not, he's still my best lead.
The name touches a nerve once again.
Amigas, I've had this strange feeling in my gut since we got here. Something is slowing us down. Now, to figure out what it is,
A silent fear grips her, like ripples suddenly appearing on a once still lake, and settling in its quiet disturbance.
look, it's a wild guess, but just wait till I finish. It feels like everything happening in this prison is somehow connected to my novel, El auge y la caída de la cordura. We're no strangers to wild guesses, and sometimes they're closer to the truth than you'd think. So the rise and fall of sanity. Sorry. What exactly is your story about?
Question scatters the midnight gloom. Outside, moonlight spills over gray-white snow.
Huh. Nunca pensé que te interesaría. It starts... Sorry, it's been a while since I told it from the beginning. A few years ago, I worked as a forest ranger. It happened in a desert town called Amalfitano, in Sonora, back in 1975.
The two patient listeners watch the stammering girl, waiting for the next part of her story.
You know what? Most people say the beginning's a bit hard to get into, except for Aleph. I'm thinking of rewriting it, but if you like the sound of it so far, maybe I could read you the latest part I just finished?
She studies her readers' expressions, guessing madly at their responses.
Please.
And the fight is gonna be her telling the story. Oh no, it's not.
Todo empezó con los datos de frecuencia de las cintas.
Let's see here. We could have cleared the pill bottles, I guess. Interesting, okay.
El patrón general parecía haber cambiado. Al principio, la investigadora de paracausalidad lo atribuyó a un error estadístico. Un fallo, tal vez. Oh, sorry.
I don't speak Spanish.
But after a few days and long nights of meticulous calculations, that explanation only became less and less plausible. The odds of success and failure kept shifting, and the chance of repeating the previous result kept growing. It was as if someone had tampered with the rules and tweaked it to their liking. She took her findings to Amalfitano, the town of nothing, as they called it then. Near the old looms, she met a blind weaver who spoke softly of an old tale. I heard a strange rustling at dawn, like a die rolling along a wooden floor. Then the morning light dimmed and died. That was the last time I saw the sun. My own hands were the threads I worked with. The second time I heard the die roll, I was told the oxen in the fields sank to their knees and never stood again. By the third roll, the fields were crawling with frogs. Plows ran over them, and some still writhed, squeezing themselves deeper into the cracks in the earth. The fourth time the die rolled, 10 dormice plunged into the sea in a strange sleepwalk, and 10 bears feasted for the last time before winter arrived.
Okay. What does this mean?
The final roll of the die was cast in a cage during a duel. Before a crowd of eager eyes, the winner left with 10 pounds of gold, and the loser left with 10 flies, which fell on him to feast.
The quiet spread throughout the cell like a rolling tide.
Is that all?
Seems like it.
Well, there's more, but I haven't quite figured those parts out yet. Any thoughts? Anything. I can take it. Please, I really need some feedback. I wonder if the protagonist ever finds this die of Babylon in the end. Oh, Verton, it isn't a real die, it's just a metaphor. Oh, I see. I must have missed that. Sorry. Still, it's a beautiful story. Sad, but beautiful.
I think that describes Reverse 1999 a lot. Sad but beautiful.
The story is still too obscure, isn't it? Aleph warned me about this. In our last correspondence, he suggested adding the blind weaver to shed light on the hidden theme. It helped at first, but even with his sage advice, no matter how hard I tried, the plot just didn't seem to move forward. Feel stuck in that village with them, lost, dazed, isolated inside their small, disconnected moments. Something crucial is missing, leaving gaps between the characters and the scenes.
Stuck in the small, disconnected moments.
Should I change the storyteller's perspective? Start a different angle? Or maybe rewrite the characters completely? What should I do?
Before the writer sinks into a swirling vortex of self-doubt, someone decides to push for something tangible.
Apologies, but you said your story somehow connects to what's happening here in the Panopticon. What makes you think that?
It's a strange feeling. Like, everything here belongs to a dream I once had. Only, I can't remember it.
Do you mean that you have a sense of déjà vu? It's nothing to worry about. Our psychiatrist friend Kakania told me those moments are often the result of a dysfunctional connection between two parts of the brain. Like a little glitch in our heads.
Also, Kakanya's knowledge of psychology is at least almost 100 years behind date, but yeah, I guess it's fine.
No, it's nothing like déjà vu.
The storyteller snaps back politely, agitated.
Déjà vu is a single moment, a specific situation. But here it's everything. La sociedad, the rules, the idealist, even the incidents in the gallery. Each one unfolds in a similar pattern, like the grooves on a record, telling a story I feel I've listened to before. Amalfitano and Comala. They're two sides of that same record, playing out the same tune. Whatever happens in my story seems to be happening here too. I had that feeling when I met you as well, Miss Verton. At first I thought it was only an interesting coincidence. You're much like the first character in my story. A traveler with a suitcase.
The girl rambles on, desperately relating to her characters.
But then I realized, the doctor, your Doris, she's like the blind weaver who lost her sight to the dye despite having always been faithful to it. And the jailer, she's the bank clerk who assisted the corporation in taking over the town in order to escape her past. And the idealist, he's the murdered donkey driver, and the dye of Babylon. No, mis queridos amigos ficticios. ¿Qué rayos les está pasando?
Wait. Are you saying that everyone we've met here matches a character from your story? Like some kind of archetype? That sounds unbelievable. But then again, maybe you're onto something. You see the world through a different lens that none of us share.
Not just the characters. The events here are mirroring my story too. Aleph. He's the only one who truly understood my story. If things are playing out just like my novel, then maybe Aleph is in fact still here.
Are you suggesting that someone is controlling the Panopticon in order to make it follow the same plot as your story?
Yeah, it's interesting. Or either that, or she's rewriting reality in the Panopticon.
That they've set the rules, started the poetry group, planned the attack on the idealist, and tried to prevent us from finding Dr. Dores. If that's true, Miss Recoleta, it's very likely that the one acting against us is in fact Aleph himself.
Recoleta never expected the chain of reasoning to unravel this way.
But No. How could that be possible?
I am curious about his motives too. Why would he do this? She interrupts, only for confusion to creep into her face moments later.
Why? Why would he do this?
Yes, exactly. It's not how, but why.
I don't see any reason why he'd be connected. He's an intelligent, cultured, and profound person, not a common killer. No, none of this adds up.
Remember, Dr. Doris was brought to Ushuaia by the Xeno rebels, and we know they're connected to Manus Vindictae. If this Aleph really is hiding Doris from us, he may be working with them.
We have at least one member of Manus in this area, Diggers, so even if he's like in there like a joke or a reference. But yeah. Recoleta stares blankly for a time before clumsily shifting the topic.
Oh, my... Soneto. I didn't know you had such a flair for stories. Maybe you should join us and become a visceral realist too. I think you're only imagining things. Perhaps you were inspired by this strange prison?
Girl, you're not convincing anyone.
Perhaps we all need to start writing our own stories. Come out now. Whoever's out there, speak up. How can we help you?
Who's there?
Very little intuition works well. Oh, we're fighting that guy. Oh, a shadow. It's an old man and her. Okay. Yeah, this works.
A bold attempt. This way, Matcha. This way, please. At your service. A bloody handprint on broken glass. Classic. It's for your sake. You really do that to a poor little maid?
Sure.
Matcha, heed my prayer. Knock, knock. Room service. At your service. The curtain has fallen.
The central tower. Oh, there's something here. Let's see. They covered their eyes. They descended into madness. When they speak of Manus Vindicte, their tone is always light, often laced with jokes, colorful descriptions like a greasy-haired musician smearing tiles like a drunk, Edward Goya. Frequently crop up with their poetry. Even though I have never seen such a scene myself, I can still grasp their attitude towards Manus Vindicte. It is an oppression. It was an oppression surpassing even their past suffering. Yet subconsciously, they ignored this similarity. Perhaps out of denial, or perhaps because this prison has already taught them to obey, also subconsciously. But as far as I know, Manus Vindicte did bring their terror here. Those masks drove Arcanus to insanity and caused unbearable suffering, as if they were caught in an unescapable snare. Their prolonged torment, they lost their ability to utter even a single phrase of their own language, reduced slaves of this underground faction, left with only a singular thought, their souls having left their empty husks of their former selves. And as for humans, it seems they were driven to death en masse. At night, they were not allowed to prolonged sleep, woken by their companions every hour to sit beneath the watchtower to enchant prayers, and by dawn, high-intensity training and interrogations that did not require or expect any answers would begin again. The purpose of Manus Vindicte is buried beneath these cruel methods, as clear as the deepest crevice in the ice field. It is nothing but destruction. They seek to completely destroy humanity. Why, though? Alright, Central Tower. A silent and merciless order of ideals.
Easy. It's me, Garcia. We met at the gallery earlier.
Yeah,
Please,
hello, Garcia.
I come in peace.
Recoleta pays no mind to the young man's explanations. Her focus holds on the woman behind him.
It's you, Octavia! The murderer herself!
Please, calm yourself, Miss Recoleta.
Yeah, we don't know if she killed him.
The jailer has already confirmed that she wasn't the one to fire at the idealist. The shot came from somewhere else in the room.
Recoleta bites her lips, giving up a little space to the intruders.
Miss Octavia, what brings you here at this hour?
I come here out of goodwill. Believe me, I didn't want any bloodshed either. I understand you just arrived today. There's something you need to know about the inmates here.
The visitor's expression is weary and low.
We're outcasts, rejected by society and literature, and our privileges are limited within these walls. But before I started my own literature group, I struck a deal with the Panopticon authorities. If we cooperate and stay out of trouble, they'd leave us be. we could discuss literature freely and openly in Comala. Such a thing may seem trivial to you, but this is of immense importance to us.
Oh, there's no happier thing in this world than discussing literature. No one should ever put limits on it.
You're right, Recoleta. But we're prisoners here. There are certain rules we have to follow.
Okay, yeah.
Except, the idealist didn't see it our way. He refused to compromise, believing that the long poem and his so-called ism could break us free from the cage of the ever-watchful eye.
Perhaps he was right. You might have achieved more if you'd listened to him. After all, visceral realism keeps us connected to who we are. You have to believe in the truth of visceral realism, because out there, beyond these walls, many of us still do.
And what has it changed? Garcia, you're the latest inmate here. Tell us, 3 months ago, before they arrested you and took you here, what has the visceral realism movement accomplished out there?
Besides them, Garcia, who's been patiently leaning against the railing, produces a metallic vibration on its grates. A rough paper roll burns between his lips.
At first, it was revolutionary. Young poets joined in droves. We held gatherings. And the literary world seemed alive again. I was just a kid when the leading poets left the city. Everyone thought it was only temporary. But they didn't come back. And nothing has happened since. No one says it. But we all know. Visceral realism died in 1977.
Okay. No, not for me. It's not dead as long as people still believe in it. I believe in it.
Octavia ignores the childish remarks. She knows that conviction can be as fragile as a spider's web.
Belief, faith, what is this obsession with the true self? Why does your type always insist on there being a true self hiding beneath our roles in society? Our disciplines?
Look at the idealist. He never once stopped fighting for what he believed in, even long after he was put behind these bars.
Idealist, what a name he gave himself. Who will he be when he finally breaks free from the eyes of the central tower? When he's left without his willful audience? And nobody. That's why. And that is a truth even he is terrified of.
Miss Octavia, I hope you've come with something more important to share than just some criticism of the idealist.
Good, but back on track.
You're right. I have an important message for you.
All right.
Dr. Torres. I heard you were looking for her. The woman from the Sao Paulo Veterans Residence. She used to write under the name Erd, didn't she?
Yes.
Yes, that's right. Do you know her? You're the first person I've met here to speak plainly about her. Do you know where she might be?
We crossed paths, but only briefly. I'm not sure where she's gone. Maybe the authorities know. However, she left this with me. I think you'll need it more than I do.
Oh, why did she leave? Oh, a notice book. Octavia hands over her personal folder. Before they might open it, she has already turned to leave.
We have other matters to attend to. I'll leave you to your business. Garcia, shall we?
Their visitors leave in haste, their faces and expression obscured by the night's shadow. The Foundation's investigators open the worn manuscript folder with caution.
The physician told me the horrifying truth about the panopticon of Kamala and the power behind it.
I fucking
Manus
knew it.
Vindicte.
Wait, then what aren't this physician doing if he told her about the horrifying truth? No, wait. Doris is the one who thinks the truth is horrifying. The physician could just not think it's horrible.
By becoming the panopticon's sole patron, they seized control of the resources and the allocation system, turning this place into a living hell. I suspect that the physician, the current highest authority here, is responsible for this situation.
So yeah, okay.
I discovered that the inmates were put through brutal training, even when they were too sick to carry out their tasks. They also forced pure-blood Arcanist inmates to wear their masks, effectively turning them into murmuring puppets.
Just as we suspected. Manus Vindictae is orchestrating everything. No wonder we didn't find them in the city. They've been hiding here all along.
No one would have thought to come looking for them here.
Prison for Arcanists, yeah. They snapped the folder shut. A familiar signature, seen on the foreground page of Voodoo magazines, and a receipt found in São Paulo's heartfelt home.
But why would Miss Octavia bring this to us? What's in it for her? Do you think she's trying to mislead us, Timekeeper?
Maybe. But the handwriting in that notebook is most certainly Erd's. If she's leading us astray on purpose, why? Miss Recoleta, what do you think? Could she be Aleph?
Nope.
Not a chance. Haven't you seen how she denies everything beautiful in the world? Aleph would never be so biased. No. Aleph is like a mirror. He reflects both light and shadow. But, Octavia, maybe she hasn't looked at the shadow within for a long time. I know that look on her face. It's the look of a writer. I've seen so many like her during my trip. The faces of a lost, struggling generation.
Okay. Well, we're outside now. Under the night sky, Kamala Prison stands like a forgotten gravestone covered by fine, cold snow. In the room repurposed from a prison cell, 3 girls in search of someone share an absurd, bizarre tale. Meanwhile, at the entrance of a central watchtower, a jaguar knocks on a secure door.
Dr. Merlin, I'm here to report on today's events.
Merlin, huh?
Come in.
It's Aleph. Frantic writing breaks the quiet of the room. The jailer's visit does not deter the man behind the desk. He continues writing, wholly absorbed, as if each letter were filling the world around him.
There was a commotion in the gallery today, sir. An inmate known as the Idealist was severely injured. The inmates nearby said he lost consciousness from blood loss. However, after we put everyone back in their cell, the Idealist was gone. I made a sweep of the grounds, but there was no trace of him.
Ah, so no one knows where he is.
It's possible that he regained consciousness and went into hiding. I'll perform a full search tomorrow.
The Jaguar finds herself quiet, unexpectedly concealing the truth about Pablo.
No need.
It is him. Oh, so he is the physician. Interesting.
Sir?
He knew the consequences of breaking the rules, did he not?
Sir, with all due respect, I think today's incident proved just how dangerous it is to let the inmates keep their weapons.
What? Why do they keep the weapons?
We never should have let them walk around with deadly weapons. Even if we had to, we should have doubled the guards. We can't expect them to follow their own rules simply out of fear of the central tower.
The physician interrupts her sharply, with no hints of concern.
Such matters fall beyond your purview, jailer. You only need to do what's required of your title. Is there anything else?
There is another thing. 2 guests from the Foundation came through today. They said they were looking for someone named Doris. They've shown a willingness to cooperate, though they were involved with the incident in Corridor Zero.
Sound of writing continues. Her report is disregarded. The jailer takes a deep breath. The next part is difficult to say.
Sir, there is one more thing. I told Miss Octavia we're short on rations, and she's adjusted the inmates' portions accordingly, but that won't last long.
Ah, okay, so they are low on medicine. Yeah, if this place is abandoned, then yeah, they wouldn't get any support, would they?
Manus Vindictae stopped providing supplies back in March, and Sino has collected all the prisoners they had previously placed in her custody.
Ah, okay. Yeah, Manus Vindictae was their sole provider. And now they lost interest, took everyone that they needed, and said fuck you to everyone. Huh.
I just wonder why they have so suddenly withdrawn from Ushuaia and brought all the prisoners with them.
They're going to Antarctica. Yeah, this was just a pit stop for them.
I also noticed that we haven't received any orders from the government since Warden Tartuffe was transferred. In fact, we haven't had any communication with them at all. Sir, in frank terms, we're facing down a serious shortage of medicine, food, and basic supplies. At this rate, the Panopticon will soon be unable to operate. Where will our inmates go then?
The man before her says nothing for a long time, his pen still flickering over the page.
Can we ask the Foundation for help? They've sent their people here. Maybe they're interested in the Panopticon? I could arrange a meeting if you like.
You're unusually talkative today.
The man finally stops writing and looks up.
Pardon, sir?
That's fascinating, you know. You've become so much more concerned about this place and its inmates than when you first started. You are now dictated by your title.
God damn it, he looks cool as hell. Look at this guy. Jeez.
I didn't mean to overstep. I'm sorry.
You can go now. I have a great deal of work to do. Oh, and one more thing.
He beckons the jailer back before she leaves.
Make sure this month's Kamala Congress is held according to schedule.
Yes, sir.
The Jaguar disappears beyond the door, metallic footsteps fading into the distance. Only then does the physician allow his suppressed frustration to surface.
How many times have I warned you about this? The idealist has to go. He's nothing but trouble for us. You're too soft on him, Aleph. Look at the mess he has us in now. Calm down.
Okay...
He's a rabble-rousing thief, a self-destructive maniac, a snake in the grass. He even stole the tea of Kamala from me. He's nearly ruined everything we've worked for.
Oh, it's the die. The man angrily raises the once lost, now found die. In the dim room, it flickers with a comforting glow.
It's only a die, Merlin. It does nothing more than a die can do. You were there today. You saw what he did. He managed to change the Panopticon with this die, even if only for a second.
Oh, that's what happened, okay.
He'll ruin my work, Aleph. He's a slave to his passion. His head is filled with impulsive thoughts. I don't trust him. We can't trust him. I've done everything you've asked. Now it's time to do your part.
Aleph responds with indifference to the physician's frustration, continuing his writing without pause.
Time's ticking down. I can't afford any further mistakes. No one can be permitted to stop my experiment in the Panopticon. I'll prove it to them. That we have found the path to the ultimate answer.
So, is Aleph and the physician like different personalities in the same body? Is that what we're doing here? Huh. Alright, I have two things here. Is it another? No, it's not another Doris one. Alright, let's see what we have here. On Xeno's defectors. I wonder if the tower inside the prison has seen this. Based on the above information and recent intelligence from the Timekeeper squad, it is confirmed that Xeno's defector unit has entered Kamala prison, which held numerous arcanists and withdrew from Ushuaia on March 2nd. The operation clearly involved cooperating with Manus Vindicte. The current whereabouts of the defectors remain unclear, pending further intelligence from Timekeeper squad. The information is fragmented and primarily inferential. For the full reasoning behind the operation and additional details, please refer to attachment 4-28. Look, the smallest clues, the greatest structures, built brick by brick. Prison reform notes, okay. During the 3rd Kamala Congress, something's daily dose of diazepam was reduced to 2 3/4 tablets to none, replaced with 2 classified poetry collections, a 1675 and 6 chloroprazine tablets, to be taken 1.5 per day. 1. 2 days, 11 hours, 8 minutes and 4 seconds later, an 8mm crack appears on a bar of his cell, which is on the 2nd floor, near the 3rd staircase, and is the 8th cell from the left. He scraped off a 4 by 3mm fragment for 32nd tile. from the 32nd tile. Damn, this is hard to read. 2. Mentions of the other me increased from 3 times in 48 hours to 25 times in 48 hours. 3. 4 days, 3 hours, 7 minutes and 8 seconds later, he transitioned from merely collecting manuscript paper to collecting manuscript paper and mirror fragments. Within the next 24 hours, he collected 11 mirrors, which totaled 103 shards. During the 6th Kamala Congress, supply of fluoxetine and valproate was completely discontinued, replaced with a 4 classified L6759 literary selections and 4 rolls of 400 centimeter bandages. 1. Average 32 bangs against bars and walls per hour. The bandages were all used up within 4 days, 14 hours, 20 minutes and 9 seconds, within 89.3 centimeters lost in the water due to excessive ripping. Wrote 15 pages of poetry over 10 days, 6 hours, 8 minutes and 3 seconds. Tore up 14 of those pages and swallowed the remaining one. Alright, that's gonna be it for now. Alright everyone, I hope you enjoyed and I'll see you next time in Reverse 1999. Ciao.